Yeah, we can. Like, you sent me an article about Coach's Challenge, and I'll see if I can find. I sent this video clip to you. This is mad deja vu. But there was a play that's clearly inspired this moment, and it was the Minnesota versus Dallas game. I want to say game one or game two. Um, and yep, I've Googled this before. So there's a challenge call where um, Dallas challenges an out of bounds. So what happens is the referee calls out of bounds Minnesota ball, and Dallas challenges the call. And they challenge the call because they believe, and rightfully so, that Jaden McDaniels is the last person to touch it. I've just sent the link to you if you want to put it up. And
Is it a
in the
video? Is
replay,
it a video? We get
it
hit
is a
with
YouTube
get
video.
hit with copyright every time we play a video, don't we?
Well, I'm giving it to you then. But basically, in the video or in the replay, it is apparent that Kyrie fouls Jaden McDaniels,
Yeah,
and the foul causes him to let go of the ball and thus causing the out of bounds.
sure.
Now, the
Yep.
referee, like every referee should, and like this is something that referees do, sometimes there's something called advantage. I've missed a call here, but I'm going to rectify it by making sure the ball ends up in the correct team's hand. I believe the referee missed the foul, didn't feel confident to call the foul, but they're like, hey, it's okay. Minnesota's going to get the ball back. We're all good. Dallas challenges it. And the rule with challenging has always been you're only analyzing the call. So the call that they're challenging is the out of bounds. So they are
Yep.
not looking for anything else. They're not looking for travels or fouls. They're just looking for who touched the ball last, what caused the out of bounds. And when they review the play, they have to weirdly ignore the fact that, well, yeah, okay, clearly out of bounds in Minnesota, only because it was a foul. And so the article that you sent me is basically using this moment in time to change the rule. And now the rule is going to turn into when they review a play, they are not reviewing the play with the lens of one specific rule or outcome. They're now looking at the play as a whole. So if the ball goes out of bounds, they're looking at what caused the ball to go out of bounds, whether it be the last person to touch it or an illegal maneuver or play.
Yep.
So I think this is a really positive thing because that call was a little bit contentious when it did happen. And
So
you don't want to play to you don't want to make people sit through additional timeouts, watch replays of something that is so painfully obvious a foul, but because of the rules, you're not able to change it. It made them look worse. If they just missed the call and they had to go straight back into the action, all good. But the fact that they spent 5 minutes reviewing it and could not acknowledge that they missed a foul, that's worse.
now you've always been the guy that likes to break down these rules within the NBA, man. And I guess how far back can they review a play though?
It's only on a coach's challenge, so it's not creating this weird precedence where they're about to ruin everything. It is simply just going, excuse me, it's just simply just going to analyze a play. So let's say there's a charge block. Okay, so this is another scenario that's could occur. Let's say there's a charge block. Okay, so a player is driving to the hoop and they get called for a charge and they decide to review it. Okay, and so when they're reviewing this play, assuming I understand this rule correctly, instead of looking at the feet of the defender, figuring out if they're in the semicircle or whatever it is, they might uncover that on the drive, someone rips their arm. And that's what causes them to kind of lose momentum or lose control and cause the charge. The new ruling is going to allow them not to call a charge or a block, but actually change the play call to, oh, well, there was actually a holding foul before the charge occurred. That's the idea of the rule change. It allows them to get the call in that play correct, not just whatever call they made in that play. If I'm making sense.
How about something that happens off the ball?
Well, I don't think that's in the spirit of a coach's challenge. A coach's challenge is analyzing the play. So no, I don't think it's going to be as a dramatic where you've got a 3-point shot going up and someone gets fouled and they're going to be looking in the weak side corner, seeing a guy holding another guy's
So
jersey. I
there's a
don't think they're
foul.
going to go to
So
that extent.
so there's a foul there. So then they should
No.
correctly fix that
I can already
call.
sense that you're being obtuse for the sake of it. I think this is a really positive rule change. I don't think it needs the hypotheticals that you're about to go through.
I continue to be an advocate that we should really just throw away the replay center and just
Okay.
allow the referees to ref the game. But you know, I know
Sorry.
you're not a fan of that, and there's a growing number of people that I know, and out there in the sporting community that probably jump on your boat, man. You know, and then I get it, it's fine. But you know, I'm gonna I'm gonna, 10 years from now, maybe we're gonna have a perfectly ref game of basketball where there'll be no fouls because you're the one that told me fouls are an error of the game. Like,
Well, they are by definition.
yeah. So there'll be no fouls, perfectly called, no nothing, no rules incorrectly missed or interpreted at the whole game. And are we going to have a better product? I don't know, man. I think
I think people
to
like
me the
flow.
jury's out. I think the jury's out there for
I
me.
think people like flow, and I think a lot of the dramatics that come out of reviewing calls and fouls and whatnot is the what if scenarios. And I think, true sportsmen or true skill is definitively winning. And I think the NBA is a product that's really suffered with that because I think there's a lot of definitive things that don't occur. How often do you have a champion that you can definitively say, like, oh, they were
D-
clearly the best team?
Don't you like saying the phrase "ball don't lie"? Yeah, you don't get a call, and then that happens. You go, "Ball don't lie." Yeah, isn't this part of the game? But then now you don't need to worry about that anymore because just check the replay center. You don't
Yeah,
need to
get it
ball don't
right.
lie. Just check the replay center. Just make sure you check every single part of the whole play and every play
I
around it,
think
so you don't need to lie because
But I think that's a holdover of the emotions of being right and wrong. And I think that's the beauty of this dystopian future that you keep casting is that being correct or having the correct call, there's no need to get upset. The only thing that you're upset about is your own incompetence or
at
ineptitude. That's it.
fouling,
That's all
at,
it
at
is.
fouling, correct? When
Yeah,
you're making the
that's it.
error of fouling, not a
Some
strategy,
people,
not a
I'm going to be honest
strategy.
with you. I'm going to be honest with you. As someone who refereed at some point, I looked in the souls of many men in my time. I looked them in the eyes, and I can promise you, I know they fouled. So does the person on the court next to them. So does the person in the parking lot who just turned off their car and was a little bit muffled with all the windows still up, but they could still hear the slap that was caused by that person. I have had people legitimately look me in the face, convinced they
What
had done
foul?
nothing wrong.
What foul?
Okay?
It looks like
And
this,
this
right?
is the thing.
What foul?
And and I'm in. I'm in. I'm clearly feeling a little bit better. I need you to understand that as a species, if we had a replay center, even at a local level, and we could watch a video replay of our own errors and see us foul, there would have to be a level of humility that comes with the fact that if I watch video footage of me fouling when I was adamant that I didn't foul, and I know that it hasn't been edited and I can't even humor that, if I do that, I could realize in real time, perhaps I have overreacted. And then perhaps that trickles down to the rest of the things in their life, right? Maybe those men go home and apologize to their spouse because they've been overreacting all day. Maybe they apologize to their dogs and their children and whoever it may be, that they're overreacting because they just went to a basketball game and they were wrong and they were definitively wrong and they had to admit that publicly and that humbles me. And now I'm able to go and talk to other people in my life and realize I have made mistakes and they become better people and counseling requirements go down and mental health improves because we're not left to the subjectivity of white line fever and bias.